Two MLS sides meet on Wednesday night in the CONCACAF Champions Cup when the Houston Dynamo meet the Columbus Crew at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Now, when we look back to round one, Houston played another MLS team in St. Louis, and they lost 2-1 on the road. Then they won 1-0 at home, and that away goal in leg one saw them through to this round. Meanwhile, Columbus were already qualified for this round. They didn't have to play in the first round. The odds for this game are relatively even. Houston plus 145, draw plus 240. Columbus also plus 145. The over is minus 134, under plus 105. Both teams to score yes, minus 163, and both teams to score no, plus 120. Head to head, as both of these teams are in MLS. Obviously, there is lots of history between these teams, but there's also not a ton of recent history as they are in opposite conferences, so don't play all the time. Last year, though, they did play, and Houston won 2-0 at home in MLS. That is where this game will be, in Houston. The game before was back in 2020, also in Houston. It was a 1-1 draw. The road team has not won a game between these teams, though, going back 16 games all the way back to 2011. For Houston, in the MLS season so far, they drew Sporting Kansas City at home 1-1, and they lost 2-1 at home to the Red Bulls in MLS so far. Now, if you count the preseason, Houston has just one win in 7 games. They've allowed a goal in 8 of 9 games. They've scored a goal in 7 of 8 games, and they've also scored in 14 of 16 going back to last season. Now, this weekend's home loss to the Red Bulls was a rare home loss for Houston, with just 2 home losses in all competitions across their last 19 games. They've scored in 17 of those games as well. For Columbus, they started their season in MLS. They beat Atlanta 1-0 at home, and they drew Minnesota 1-1 on the road so far. The Crew need no introduction here. They're the MLS champs. They have just 1 loss across 14 games in all competitions. They've started strong with that 1-0 win over Atlanta and that draw, and the Loons only scored late into that game in the 95th minute, so they were very close to starting with 2 wins. Cucho Hernandez also already has a goal in both games, so he's in good form as well. The Columbus defense seems to be improving so far this season. If you look back to last year in their 46 overall games that they played in all competitions, there were at least 2 or more goals in 43 of them. In those 46 games, they scored 42, which was incredible, but they also allowed a goal in 35. Now, if you look into this season, they obviously have conceded in 1 of those 2, but we're minutes away from keeping 2 clean sheets. Still, though, if you combine last year and this, they have goals in 44 of 48. They've allowed a goal in 36 of 48. If we think the Columbus' defense is tightening up and Houston not being the most prolific scorers on the best of days, add in the fact that Sebastian Ferreira and Hector Herrera, as well as Nelson Quinones, are all missing here for Houston, it should be probably a Columbus win, but Houston is a very tough team to break down at home. So for that extra insurance, let's go Columbus. Draw no bet, so if they win, you get the win. If they draw, it's a push. You can get that at minus 120 odds for the best bet in this CONCACAF Champions Cup game. Now, if you're looking for more soccer picks, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel to get more.